So there's a few things in our homes that are a little bit trickier to style. And towards the top of that list is console tables. And I'll tell you why. There are a variety of applications for console tables. You could have one under a TV. You could have one behind a sofa, between two sofas, on a wall with artwork above, in an entry. There's just so many different applications for consoles. Therefore, there's a lot of different techniques to styling them. So I'm going to teach you 5 of my favorite ways to style a console like a designer today. And we're gonna start with this piece behind me that has a TV above it, because I feel like this is happening in the majority of our homes. Most of us have a TV on the wall, let's be honest, and we have a piece of furniture underneath it. So this creates a really tricky styling situation, but I'm gonna teach you how to do it. I'm gonna show you 3 different ways to style a console table just like this. So the first thing I wanna talk about is the amount of space that you have from the top of your piece of furniture and the bottom of your TV, because that's really the usable space that we have for styling. Now, this piece of furniture isn't a console. This is more of like a buffet, credenza, sideboard, whatever you wanna call it. But it's underneath my TV. It's, I think, 33 inches tall. This TV is hung a little bit higher than we would normally hang it, but we had a different one up here. We didn't want to change the mount, so it is what it is. So I've got about, I think, like 8 or 9 inches of space between the bottom of the TV and the top of my piece of furniture. Now, the length of this piece of furniture gives me the opportunity to add in a lamp on the side of the TV, and it doesn't really block the view of what's on the screen. So if you have an opportunity to do that, I think it just adds a little bit of charm and creates, in the evening when we're in this room watching TV, it just creates like a welcoming, warm vibe. So what do I want to do with the rest of the surface of this table? I'm going to show you a few different ways to do it, but I'm going to start with really simple. So if I've got a lamp on this side that's got some height to it, I need to balance that visual weight on the opposite side of the console, but I can't get really tall because of the TV. So I have got this piece here. Now, this is a vintage piece that I scored like, well, a few years ago, and I absolutely love it. It's a book stand, and it's adjustable, so I could go up like really tall with it if I wanted to, but I always have it down on the lowest setting because it kind of falls below the bottom of the TV. And then I always put a really pretty coffee table book on it. And I change this out seasonally, like sometimes like this is like this beautiful landscape scene. Sometimes I'll do something that's a little bit more seasonal if it's a spring or in holidays or whatever. But I keep this on this console a lot. Now, the last thing I'm gonna add, because I'm doing a really simple one to start, is I want to do something low on this side where the lamp is. Now, a couple of things to think about are the material mix. So if you've seen some of my other styling videos, and if you haven't, you need to go check them out. You know that I am a huge fan of making sure that you've got a mix of materials in your vignettes. So for this vignette, we just have a few objects, so there's not like a ton of different materiality in here, but we do have a mix. So starting out with the lamp, we've got this beautiful like ceramic lamp base, the textural linen of the lampshade. This right here is an alabaster bowl. And then of course I've got wood over here on the book stand. And then the piece of furniture is wooden, and it's got the mirror and a little bit of metal. Actually, so we do have a total material mix there. Did it without even knowing, but everything together creates visual interest because there's tension between the different materials. Now, also one other thing to just take note of is that I'm creating a cadence with the color palette as well. So I've got this really beautiful flax color coming into the linen. Then also that color is represented in the bowl, and then it also is picked up in the pillows that are on flanking like on these chairs. So just something to think about when you're styling a console table or really any vignette is that you want to be aware of the color palette in the room and create kind of little mini versions of that in your styling. So this is a really simple one. Now, if you don't have an antique book stand like I do, you could very easily just trade that out for a stack of books. I've got some right here actually on the cocktail table I'll put up there, just so you can see. We could put that there and then actually have another little alabaster bowl that matches the one on the other side. I don't know if I would go with that color, like those books are kind of colorful, but you can see that that's an easy way. It's simple. You've got that grouping of 3 visually, even though there's more than 3 items on the console. Visually, it's 3, it looks like 3 things. So we've got this grouping that counts as 1, and then of course the lamp, and then we've got the bowl, okay? So we love to have those odd groupings when we're styling. All right, so now let's clear this away and do another styling option for this console. Okay, I've got it cleared except for the lamp because I'm not clearing that because I don't want to have to crawl behind it and unplug it. So we're going with the lamp. All right, the next styling option is a little bit more chic, I would say. And it's something that I love to do. Now, some of you comment on coffee table books as props, but let me tell you something. Coffee table books are beautiful, they're an investment, and when you have them out where you can easily grab them, you use them. I have some on etagères upstairs in my office, but I very rarely look at them. I grab the ones that are on the table surfaces that are around where I hang out, which is in my family room, in my great room. So that might not be your jam, but it is for me, and I like to use them to style with because it's easy to grab them and look in them, okay? There you go. All right, so we're going to just create a little gallery of cocktail table books, okay? I'm just gonna show you how to easily do this. I use these on consoles. I also, a lot of times will group them on a cocktail table, on the top surface of it, or if it's got a shelf, I'll put them, you know, on the shelf below. And then in a second, I'm gonna show you even another way to put them on a console. Okay, so just got a stack of 3. Actually, I'm switching these. I wanna show you why I'm switching these. This stack is taller, and I want it on the opposite end from the lamp, just so you understand why I'm doing this. Just because I want a little bit more visual height on this side to balance out the height of the lamp, or to give it a little bit more of a balanced feel, okay? When I style, I have to, like, you know, get back and really look at it. Alrighty, so now then, we've just got this repetition of stacks of books, and then we're just gonna style the top of them. Okay, so I know I need some height on this side, so I'm gonna show you a couple of options. I could just take a really cool vase and put it there, and let me show you, I wanna just explain why I chose that color. And creating balance visually and harmony within colors is a really impactful way to style. So because I've got a dark glaze over here on the lamp, this looks great and it balances out that side. Okay, it's smaller, it's not as visually like drawing the eye, but it just creates that harmony. Okay, we could do that. Also, I could take this riser, put that here on top, and then I don't know if you got to see I did an antiquing video a few weeks back where I did a whole video about going to a few of my like favorite local antique and vintage stores, and this is one of the bowls that I scored. Oh, it's so good. It's raku, so pretty. If you haven't seen that video, you need to go watch it. It's hilarious, and I had it's probably my favorite video I've ever made. Anyways, okay, so there you go. Now, I will say that this looks fabulous, but my husband would say it's blocking the TV. So I don't know. I don't know how you feel about that, but I think it looks really good, so I'm gonna leave it there. I could also just switch it. Well, that one's still pretty tall. Yeah, okay. We'll pretend. All right, and then we could just leave it like that. We could take this really pretty little candle. I think that's just like just under the TV height, and put it there. And then add a little snuffer to it. Let's do this. Okay. And then maybe, oh, I kind of like that. Then it's the middle of the summer, so I'm gonna have my little bowl of shells that we picked up on our beach trip a few weeks ago. Okay? That looks cute. So this is easy. Obviously there's more going on this vignette than there was the first one, but as you can see, we've got some color repetition. We've got all of the materials represented here. We've got glass and metal and like textural, something textural like linen, something natural like wood, ceramic. So this is a really good vignette. I like this a lot. And then if, you know, we wanted to not have the height there because we need to be able to see the whole TV, and the corner is really important of our show that we're watching on Netflix, we could just lower that down. But I like it with the riser, so we're gonna leave it there. Okay, so that was number 2. We're gonna do one more option for this piece of furniture, and I'm gonna show you how to style a console table behind a sofa, because that is something that happens in our homes all the time. That's a configuration that most of our living rooms have. So let me clear this off. We'll do one more right here. Okay, third time's a charm. Let's style it one more time. So this time I'm going to use a houseplant. You could use a houseplant. You could use a really pretty vase of fresh flowers if you've got that. You could use a faux plant if that's your jam, whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. But I love including live plants in my vignettes. And because of kind of the compactness of the top of this, compactness? I'm not sure if compactness is a word, but the compact nature of the top of it, I can kind of skinch it over there and it doesn't get into the TV screen too much. Hallelujah. Okay, so there's our balance. We've got like, you know, 2 pieces on each end. Obviously, this is like our hero of the vignette. And then our little guy over here. Now, this one's gonna be a little bit more full because some of us just like stuff and we just want stuff out. I will say, pro tip, if you've got like remote controls or a candle lighter or just little things that you need, maybe your charger for your cell phone, any of that kind of stuff, having a decorative box is a great idea, especially under your TV, because there's just gonna be like electronic stuff that you need to store. So this is a great option. You could do it on a console or your cocktail table. Then let's add this really heavy bowl. Now, this reminded me, I wanna explain something or just kind of talk through something. When you're styling a console table, especially when it's against a wall like this, you need to think about the vantage point of the items that you're displaying and how you are going to see them in this space. So this is our family room. So it's the kitchen, it's where we hang out, it's got our sofa and our like breakfast table. And I'm standing up at this room a lot because I'm cooking over here and we're sitting down over there to eat meals. We're sitting down on the sofa right here. So I am seeing all the items in this room from a lot of different vantage points. But when I'm looking directly at this console table, I'm sitting right there on that sofa. So I'm down low. And we want to think about that when we're styling. We want to think about the vantage point that the vignette is going to be looked at most often so that we can choose items that look really good when we're a little bit lower, like sitting on a sofa. So this particular bowl, it's super heavy, but I want to show you the detail on it. It is so beautiful when you view it from the front. You can see like it's made in Poland. It's incredible. It's got this thickness of the glass and it's got this really beautiful like tortoise shell detail in the glass. And although it is pretty from the top, it's most beautiful from the front. So because I've got it on this console that's a little bit taller, when I'm out here viewing the console, especially when I'm sitting down on the sofa, I get to see the most beautiful aspects of that glass bowl. So that's just something to keep in mind as you're styling your surfaces. Like how are you viewing that surface? If it's a cocktail table, a lot of times you're going to be above it. So you're looking at everything from this vantage point. If it's a piece of furniture that's against a wall, you're going to be viewing it from like this angle. I probably would never view this console, I mean, maybe from this way if I'm sitting in this chair, but not very often. So that is something to keep in mind. Little pro tip. All right, last thing I'm going to add in is this little marble riser and a brass bowl. Okay, so let's just talk through this real fast. We've got a variety of materials. I've got some woven texture over here with the seagrass, obviously the plant. I've got metal, so this really beautiful patinaed brass bowl. I've got stone, glass, leather, linen, ceramics. Oh my goodness, check, 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 check. We've got it all, and it looks really good, and it tells a beautiful visual story. When you mix loads of materials together, you just create this tension within the materials and complexity in your vignettes that doesn't come from when you just have a couple of different material mixes. So this turned out beautifully. Now, as you'll notice, one last little thing, we've got 5 visual reference points, okay? So we've got this counts as 1, this counts as 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got the grouping of 5. You know, I love to make my vignettes or to create vignettes in odd numbers. I do often do that. Sometimes I like a pair of things. I like the formality of a pair. So I wouldn't stick too hard and fast to that rule. Do what you think looks best. But in this case, 5 looks great. All right, so let's go over to the other side of the room. I'm going to show you a console behind a sofa. We're going to talk about how to style that, because in that instance, we're seeing it all the way around. We're walking around that sofa, so we need to make sure it looks good from all the angles. Okay, we've moved to the console table behind the sofa because this situation is happening in most of our homes. Now, before I show you 2 different ways to style this console and any console that is behind a sofa, I wanted to let you know that I've created a designer styling guide for you. I've linked it in the description below, and it has all of my best tips for styling the surfaces in your home, creating really beautiful magazine-worthy vignettes, all of the things that you need to know. It's going to be a little quick reference guide for you as you're styling your home, so be sure to check it out. Okay, let's move on to this console table. Now, first and foremost, we're in a tight little situation right here. This is a doorway going into the dining room. The console table is right here behind the sofa, so I've got like, I don't know, like 4 square feet to work with, but we're gonna make it happen. So a couple of things about this console. First of all, this is one of my favorite pieces of furniture in my whole house, and I don't think I've ever showed it on the channel. This is the Traverse console. It is one of the very first furniture pieces that I designed, gosh, probably a decade ago, and it's still in my collection today, and I love it. We offered in a couple of different finishes, but this is the original finish. Now, because it's behind the sofa that we sit on all the time, it's got a couple little scratches. It's got some marks from maybe where I've set my Diet Coke a few times, but that's okay. It's well loved, so we're just gonna call it well loved. Now, one other really important thing to note is that with this is an open console. So I've got the opportunity to style these shelves that are happening below. And I want to show you a couple of different ways to do that in a practical way. A lot of times consoles will have some type of shelving, either just one singular lower shelf or maybe a couple of levels like this one does, and it gives us an opportunity to put in more stuff. So we can style it really heavily. So the first thing that I want to do is create a vignette that feels just really perfect for a family room. And I'm going to add in this little shamrock. I've got some other things I've got to add, but I wanted to focus on this first because the color in the leaves of this plant is picked up in the lamp that I already have on this console. I've got a really beautiful onyx lamp and it's got these beautiful burgundies in it, and I picked that color up in this plant. Let me go grab the other things that we're gonna style this table with, and we're gonna talk through the best ways to style a table when it's situated like this in an open concept space where you're gonna see it from this side, here, and here. 360-degree styling. Okay, we've got our stuff. So the first thing that I'm gonna add in is this little picture frame, but I do have a quick pro tip. So normally, I wouldn't necessarily put a picture frame on a piece of furniture that's floating in the middle of the room because you're gonna see the back of the picture frame. Now this one is got a fine back. It's actually brass, it's pretty, but that's just something to consider. Generally, I put picture frames on pieces of furniture that are against a wall because most of the time the back of a picture frame is not very pretty. But I'm using it on this one because I wanted this metal element. So we're gonna take the picture frame and put it over here by our lamp to create some tension. And then next, I need just to get something underneath this plant. I like to have a foundational piece underneath something like this. That just feels to me like it's like on a little island lost in the sea, and it needs something to ground it. So this is my grounding piece, the book is. And then what happens is it gives it a little presence, lifts it up, and gives me the opportunity to snug another element on top of the book and create a little vignette within a vignette. And that entire vignette right here, just these three pieces together, act as a singular piece. So it's still giving us the balance of three pieces having that odd number, but really there's three within this one element. So if that makes sense, that was kind of like a lot. But so this is a great first version for our top. We've got a great mix of materials. We've got stone and metal, something natural with this woven material. We've got ceramic and linen, and then of course our natural plant. So I like the top. Now let's get to styling all these beautiful shelves below. Okay, here we go. So I've got a couple things to start with. I've got a low bowl, which I didn't mention this earlier when we were styling the console underneath the TV over there, but this is a great option. This is also a great option for a buffet in your dining room, something low. It will fit underneath a piece of art, low and long. We love low and long. Okay, so this is the perfect height to go on one of our shelves. So I think actually I'm gonna snug that one like in there. And no, you can't, I mean, you're only gonna see it from the front, but I like it snugged down there, and I think it gives it a little bit of texture because that ceramic has a really beautiful kind of wavy texture to it. And then I'm gonna snug in some books. And I'm gonna off-center them a little bit because I just feel like I don't want everything to line up, and I want it to feel very, you know, uncontrived. Okay, I'm gonna get another stack of books to put down there, I think. Be right back. She's back. She's back with more books. I feel like we're kind of going a little library here. Our little chic library. Okay, so then now this set of books, I want to just kind of set them off to the side a smidge. Look how cute this is looking. All right, one more situation on the bottom. More things. Am I on? Oh. Okay, here we go. Let's see, shelves number 3 and 4. So actually, no, I'm sorry. What I decided was I wanted to put some more books on the other side of this shelf because it like comes out farther than this one right here. And so I thought it would be fun to do books on each side of that. And I think that looks really good. And then we're gonna put one more set down here on the bottom. Now, I'm gonna take a couple of little objects and snug them on top of this book, just in case. So if you're seeing it from the front, like if you're walking from that way, you see just a little sparkle of something down there. Oh, cute. We did so good in our tiny little space. All right, so this is just a really laid back styling situation. And I like that. This is our family room. I want it to feel very kind of collected over time. I don't want it to feel contrived or too stuffy. So I've got books because I love books and I love to style with books and I love to look at coffee table books, and there you have it. That's why I use them. And they look really beautiful. I think they just add a lot of visual interest to a vignette. I like this one a lot. Now we're gonna do this table, we're gonna style it one more way. I'm gonna show you something a little bit more minimalistic and streamlined, but this one might just be my favorite. The next styling situation includes a tray. Trays are like the little magicians of styling because they corral lots of different things and they give us a surface to style on top of. So we're gonna use this tray, create a little vignette in here, and we're not gonna put anything else on the table except for the items that we're going to style inside of the tray, with the exception of the lamp that's already there. Okay, here we go. Okay, the next thing that we're going to add in is a little marble riser, and we're doing that for a couple of different reasons. First of all, I wanna put a plant on top of it so it will protect my leather tray, because you know, if water gets on this marble riser, not a big deal. Secondly, we need something to elevate the plant with. So if I didn't have that riser there, so there it is with the riser, and then if I took the riser away, let me show you. The bowl that the plant is in just kind of gets lost down, you know, inside of the tray. The side of the tray is probably about 2.5 to 3 inches tall, and it just kind of loses the beauty of the bowl if we've got it down inside the tray without a riser. So adding a riser gives us height and it protects our tray. Okay, next, you've guessed it, books. Shocker, I know. All right, we're going to put the books inside of the tray. For a similar reason, I want to add in that layer of like texture from the fabric of the covers, but also I want to raise up the surface that I'm gonna add this bowl to. Because if I put the bowl down inside of the tray, we would lose the beauty of the side of the bowl. So, yay, that looks really good. All right. One more thing that we're gonna add to this vignette, and it's actually for practical purposes because we sit on this sofa all the time in the evenings watching TV or whatever, and I usually have, all of us have like, you know, a water bottle or a drink or whatever. Coasters. I don't love coasters just sitting out on a table. I mean, they're fine. These are pretty, they're marble, but since I've got this tray and that we usually set our drinks on this console table, I'm just gonna take the coasters and snug them in behind the plant. Nobody's even gonna ever see them. Okay? Look at that. Practical and beautiful. So there's one more thing I want you to keep in mind when you're styling your console tables or really any surface in your home, and that is the parallel between our furniture and our wardrobe, okay? So think about it this way. Say you have a favorite outfit, a little black dress, and you love to wear it and you wear it all the time, but the way that you change up the look is by changing up your accessories, the jewelry that you wear, the necklace, the earrings, the bag, the shoes. Changing those things out makes that little black dress look different every single time. The same thing goes in your home. Your furniture is going to probably stay the same, but changing your accessories changes the whole look and feel of your furniture. So think about that when you're styling. Be sure to download the designer styling cheat sheet that I created for you. It's going to come in handy when you're styling your surfaces. And I just want you to have fun and play around. This is not supposed to be stressful. It's supposed to be fun. Now, I have got a little design secret that I'm keeping, and I cannot reveal it yet, but if you want to get on the first look list. I want you to be sure to click the link below as well. We're going to be revealing it in a few weeks, and it's very, very exciting, and I can't reveal it now, but I'd love for you to be the first to hear about it. If you want some more styling secrets and tips right now, and you're looking to style other surfaces in your home, I want you to meet me in this next video. I'll see you there.